This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
It's the 12th of February 2019. Good morning and welcome to the best morning show here in the capital. That's Newday. My name is Josh Quinn. Let's start off with the news and coming up in the next 30 minutes. President Akufo-Addo says Africans should never again permit themselves to be subjected to dehumanizing conditions and be sold into slavery. And Ghana will become the second country in Africa after Rwanda to apply non-human-centered machines in healthcare delivery. And the 3 teacher unions have asked the Education Ministry to shelve the award of pre-tertiary diploma. And on the foreign front, U.S. congressional negotiators on Monday reached a tentative deal to try to avert another partial government shutdown. Details of these and many more coming up in the next 30 minutes. My name is Josh Quinn. Remember, we are live on DSTV channel 279. On to our very first story. President Akufo-Addo says Africans should never again permit themselves to be subjected to dehumanizing conditions and be sold into slavery. He was speaking at an event organized by the Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta on the sidelines of the ongoing 32nd ordinary session of the Assembly of the African Union in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
Nearly 12.5 million Africans, Central and West Africa, who were sold into slavery had to wealth for the people of unknown lands. President Akufo-Addo described the slave trade as one of the most barbaric episodes of human history.
Never again should the African peoples be described as indentured servants or apprentices for life.
He noted Africans have a sacred duty and an onerous responsibility to help restore the dignity and pride of the African.
We're a continent of some 1.3 billion people, more than either the populations of Europe or the Americas. We're an enterprising, hardworking, and innovative people, and we must make it count.
President Akufo-Addo said Ghana is using the symbolism of 2019 to bring together Africans, persons of African descent, to strengthen the commitment of ensuring that this blot on the history of Africa never recurs.
We in Ghana will ensure that the focus of activities commemorating the arrival of the first African slaves in Virginia showcases the achievements, creativity, ingenuity.
President Akufo-Addo encouraged Africans to be proud of their rich heritage.
And let's come back to Ghana, where hundreds of protesters hit the streets of Nkuranza in the newly created Bono East region over what they described as sidelining the Nkuranza township in the selection of regional capital. They blamed the development on some politicians, I must say, whom they claim were influential in the creation of the new region. And here's a report by our regional correspondent, Larry Parkwesi-Moses.
According to the protesters, Nkuranza is strategically located with the land, population and resources required for the regional capital. The Dontinghini of the Nkuranza traditional area, Nana Akufo-Addo IV, said they did not understand why the paramount chief of Techiman traditional area, Osadieyo Ekumfiamea II, made many public statements to the effect that Techiman was going to be selected and named as a regional capital when the siting of the regional capital was not discussed before the referendum.
14 paramountcy signed a petition for the creation of Bono East region. Although all the paramountcies are traditional equal, Nkuranza paramountcy is the biggest in terms of population, polling stations and land size.
They expressed disappointment over the way the Nkranza Traditional Council was sidelined from participating in meetings pertaining to the creation of the new region, blaming the development on some politicians. They are of the view a former Minister of State, Professor Christopher Amiao Ekumfi, the Deputy Minister for Regional Reorganization and Development, Martin Ej Mensah Kosa, who are indigenes of Techimai, orchestrated the marginalization of Nkranza from being made the Bono East regional capital.
The traditional has already been sidelined from the race by Honorable Minister of Regional Reorganization and Development and his deputy. It's being orchestrated by people well connected to the Bono East creation.
President Akufo-Addo is expected to issue a constitutional instrument to give effect to the creation of the regions and the capitals from Tuesday, February 12th. The capitals of the newly created regions are also to be named from that day.
And still on this development, the president is expected to present constitutional instruments to take effect or make effect the creation of these regions. And the capitals will also be mentioned today with regards to other 6 regions. And now on to other news. Technological changes mounting pressure on the way of doing business. Stakeholders have, however, employed government to adapt to the change to unlock economic potentials. The CEO Summit seeks to bridge the gap between the local and foreign markets by championing private sector-led growth and innovative public policies. I was there yesterday at the Kempinski Hotel.
The last few years have seen significant changes in the corporate world, evidenced by dynamic technological shifts in the fundamental way businesses are conducted in the mature and emerging markets. Innovations do not only create phenomenal opportunities for economic growth, but also serious societal challenges. Over 400 CEOs are expected at this year's Ghana CEO Summit to set the pace in the development of the roadmap in this regard. CEO of Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Yofi Grant, hinted the summit will set the tone for the Ghana Beyond Aid agenda.
It's clear that we are looking at a new economic orientation of Ghana and a departure from the age-old basis on which we exported our raw materials and resources and participated in the lower ends of the value chains of the economy of our resources. And now we are looking to transform that into moving further up the value chain of our resources through industrialization, value addition and production and productivity.
According to the CEO of Chief Executive Network Ghana Limited, Ernest de Groot Ejuri, many businesses are embroiled in long and costly transformation plans which often only partially achieve their objectives. Kojo Choi is CEO of PaySwitch.
We've always been welcoming and inviting the world to come, but it's about time that we go out. And technology is what enables us to go out. 90% of the foreign cards, I'm talking about Visa card, MasterCards, China UnionPay card, American Express cards, but 90% of them are still processed outside Ghana. Think about it. Are we losing something? What do you think we are losing? Transaction fees? Oh yes, we are losing to foreigners. But more importantly, as Julian said, data.
The 4th Ghana CEO Summit, which is slated for May 20 and 21, is on the theme, the futuristic economy, technology-driven future of business and governance for economic transformation.
And away from business, let's do health now, where Ghana will become the 2nd country in Africa after Rwanda to apply non-human-centered machines in healthcare delivery. Wendy Lai was with the team of Ghanaian journalists in Rwanda to assess how Zipline is using drones to promote healthcare.
I'm currently at Zipline Muhanga, which is one of the 2 main distribution centers in Rwanda. And at this center, 18,000 units of blood have been supplied to one part of Rwanda. According to officials, this model has helped improve the emergency care delivery system here in Rwanda. Let's go in and let me tell you about how this process is carried through.
Hospitals request blood via phone call, email, WhatsApp message or SMS. The fulfillment operators, as they're called, confirm the order received and start preparing the package according to the order specifications and inventory availability. They also informed the flight operators about the priority, emergency or resupply of the order received. The flight operator asks the controller to request takeoff clearance from the traffic control at the Kigali airport. After packing the requested blood units, it is packaged into the system assigned to the zip or zipline drone. Flight operators owned by the pack carries the body to the zip. Flight operators perform pre-flight checks, ask clearance for spinning motors and launching. If the controller confirms, the flight operator launches the zip from the operator's box. Estimated of arrival 5 minutes away alert and package delivery to the ordering facility. Zipline launched operations in Mayunga district, southern Rwanda, in October 2016 as the world's first commercial regular drone delivery service. It uses the silver blood facility. According to officials of Zipline, hospitals subscribed to Zipline used to take multiple hours to pick up blood at the regional center, but now blood is delivered directly to the facility. And there's 2 motors, 2 propellers, 2 control surfaces. Between 3 to 5 minutes, they should be able to handle the supply. At the health facilities, there are no Zipline staff. The drone drops the delivery at an earmarked point where the hospital chooses. The battery has a GPS system which follows the outbound route and inbound route. Currently, there are 9 Ghanaians undergoing training on the use of the technology at the Mayunga Distribution Center. The team visited the Rahungo Provincial Hospital, which is a 3-hour drive minus traffic. When we arrived, an order had been placed for blood to be delivered, which took about 15 minutes.
Before, financially was cost because there is matter of fuel for that car, time consuming, and thirdly, if you have emergency, we couldn't save that person having ground trip to get blood replacement. Even if we could be having blood bank in our hospital, but we had some maximum limit of unit. And since we started working with Zipline, the thing from where to now it's taking us 12 to 15 minutes.
The Mwanga Center has a capacity to handle a day. Told that between 20 to 40 deliveries are done in a day. Ghana intends to implement this model. This will help complement Ghana's healthcare delivery system. From Mwanga in Rwanda, Wendy Lai reporting for TV3 News.
And that was a detailed report there from Wendy Lai. And now to the Labour Front, where the forum, comprising 12 labour unions, has given the Social Security and National Insurance Trust NET 2 weeks ultimatum to accurately compute past credit of pensioner contributions. At a news conference here in Accra, Chairman of the group, Isaac Bampo-Addo, revealed the wrongful calculation has resulted in low pension benefit for workers. Daniel Poku has the rest of the story.
The leadership of the forum recalled countless meetings with Senate since 2010 to get their concerns addressed. It also cited numerous engagements with the regulator, the National Pensions Regulatory Authority, but to no avail. According to the forum, the wrongful calculation of past credits by Senate has negatively impacted on contributions. Some contributors who retired in 2010 after 35 years of public service were paid a paltry 2,300 cedis.
Our members, when they are on retirement, need to first take them to MPRA, go and see MPRA. And then when they go to MPRA will say, go and see your schemes. Meanwhile, these monies are with SNIT. They've not been paid to the schemes. Some of our members are receiving lump sum as low as 2,300 Ghana cedis. for over 35 years of service to Mother Ghana.
Chairman of the forum, Isaac Bampuado, gave Senate 2 weeks to get their concerns resolved.
The regulator is aware of these things. We've had various meetings with them, plus NIT, plus the Minister for Employment, just to resolve this issue. And as we speak now, the issues are still unresolved. And this time around, we are determined that in this past case, we have no option than to advise ourselves.
He again asked Senate to pay interest on the amount due following the delay.
It's since we are supposed to manage these tier 2 funds, and you are pleading with us that when you transfer these monies to us, the SNIS scheme is going to collapse. Then we are going to determine how much interest you're going to pay on these monies that are with you. So we agreed that, okay, then if you want to keep these monies, you pay 100% TB rate. And that's very marginal.
The group has since petitioned the Employment and Labor Relations Ministry.
And still on labor, the 3 teacher unions have asked the Education Ministry to shelve the award of pre-tertiary diploma. According to the Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, and Coalition of Concerned Teachers, the move could affect the quality of graduates.
According to the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, the Education Ministry has entered into a partnership with an international body called Education Commission Outcomes, EOC, on the pre-tertiary diploma certification. This commission seeks to pump in $1 billion into education across the African continent to allow private participation in the management of public pre-tertiary schools. But according to NAGRAT, this could affect quality delivery and promote commercialization.
These people are businessmen. The funds that is coming is juicy. It's attractive to businessmen. And at the end of the day, what is going to happen is that when the funds begin to dwindle, like all funds have dwindled to third world countries, then those schools will be schools that the parents themselves will now have to be supporting to maintain in the system.
How sure are you with this?
Absolutely sure. We have been fighting the EOF, we have been fighting this Education Commission and the Global Steering Group for the past 10 years. They tried the same thing in Uganda. International pressure mounted on them, the teacher unions in Uganda, the Ugandan government is withdrawn out of this.
He cautioned the Education Ministry against going into the deal.
We call on government to halt private-public partnership agenda. In Ghana, we have named it Ghana Partnership Schools, GPS. So government should halt it immediately, or else the unions don't have any other choice, like we have prescribed in our press, to embark on an industrial action.
The president of the Coalition of Concerned Teachers, CCT Ghana, Kinali Awudu, advised the Ministry of Education to conduct broader consultations.
As I speak to you, so many schools in Ghana are suffering from petty things like teaching and learning materials and what have you. Teachers are complaining of their allowances which is not being paid and all that. And the minister is aware. So when these policies and other things keep coming, it gets the teacher who is the fulcrum of education much more angrier and think that the policymaker do not think more about their welfare.
Head of Conditions of Service for NAT, Ahina Kwakwashi, is of the view such initiatives could further affect the duration of students in their pre-tertiary education.
Whatever certificate they want to give at the end of SHS level, at that terminal level, it's up to them to decide. And again, I think they cannot on their own decide. Definitely they will engage stakeholders for them to come out with some kind of input.
The ministry has since in a statement denied the issue.
And on to the foreign front, where U.S. congressional negotiators on Monday reached a tentative deal to try to avert another partial government shutdown on Saturday. But congressional aid said it did not contain the $5.7 billion President Donald Trump wants for a border war. We reached an agreement in principle on funding border security programs through September 30. Republican Senator Richard Shelby told reporters our staffs are going to be working feverishly to put all the particulars together. Shelby said neither he nor 3 other senator lawmakers flanking him provided any details of the tentative pact. And that's how we end news here on Newday. Remember, you can get more news updates on our website. It's 3news.com. Newday continues right after this break. Thanks for watching. Always a pleasure coming your way. Good morning.
Yeah,
That's old school.
Yeah.
It sounds like the palm wine.
Yeah, it's palm wine high life actually.
Yeah.
This generation 3 at palm wine will be on the show later.
Yeah, he certainly will
His
join us.
grandfather was a great musician. Then his father played with Kojo Mfi.
Oh.
Unfortunately, he's gone blind now. And then he came up,
Nice.
but sweet.
But I'm sure his father is happy to have, his son follow in his footsteps and be doing great things. That is what it should be. You should leave, the next generation feeling better and more accomplished than you were able to do. And certainly, I hope that most Ghanaians feel like that this morning, because if you're not doing that, then you have a problem and you have to set everything straight for the next generation to enjoy, so that we don't say the good old days. I think that thing is a cliche, and they exactly should say the better days ahead.
The good old days will always be there.
Yes, they are there, but when people say it with so much, passion, as if they did better in the good old days than we're doing
because
now,
they
then it means
in the
you
good
have
old
to
days.
try and make it better.
Okay.
That's what I think
See,
the
my
aspiration
concern
should
is
be.
with the lyrics we used to hear.
Yeah,
those
good
days
lyrics.
and the ones
We're hearing now.
Look. What?
Yeah.
Music police.
I don't know, but
Right.
Johnny,
Yeah,
This
it's
is
true.
true. No,
It's
we
true.
say- I think
I mean,
there's
for
no
every
confusion
standard,
about
there's a
that.
reason they call the songs standards.
Yeah.
Because it must have certain lyrics.
Yeah.
It must have an intro. It must have an outro. It must have a bridge. It must have solo. Okay,
Right.
it must have verses. It must have a chorus.
Right.
If the song structure has these things and is arranged, no matter how they are arranged, then you call the song a standard.
Right.
So you find out Rex Omar's music or Daddy Lumba's music or Kojo Mfi's music or Machinede's music can match up with anything that Lionel Richie has done, like Charles Samoa, like anybody else has done.
But the current
But the current ones, they don't have that music structure.
No,
Sometimes you
Johnny,
find just one or two chords, and that's
Johnny,
the whole 6 minute
I am
song.
not even talking about those. I am talking about the lyrics, what the person is saying. in the song. Look, I visited the family.
Like slow motion.
And then a young guy, he's about 7 years, okay, and he was singing this song, a God song, Domini Machine of Papa. And the mother was, the mother was trying to impress me that her boy could sing.
Sing the
And
latest
so
songs.
he was beckoning him, sing and let uncle hear you. And the young 7-year boy, Domini Machine of Papa. The lyrics, bedroom commando and the Ebebumpa. You see, it is what is getting the youth into sex. The drive is to use sex to attract people. And for me, it is worrying. I mean,
sex sells.
Yes, it does.
But then I think that the objective of every musician, like the media, is to educate, entertain, inform, and for me, elevate you to the next level.
So,
or not send you further down the
downhill. It means what?
I don't know.
So the young guys will want to, then they keep asking, and then they want to practice what. So for me, it is worrying, honestly.
I've always said that the moment as a country we decided not to follow through with music and dance lessons in school. Because we learned music and dance in school. You would learn the semi-quaver, you learn the bass clef, you knew what 4/4/4/2 timing is, and then you learned some lyrics. So you would learn Ifrimamu's music, you learn Kibru's music, and all of that. And so you got an indication of what it is. Look, there are musicians like Lord Kitchener, who has written a song that I consider as very suggestive, like A.B. Krenzel's Moses. Very suggestive music. but it takes
difficult
a deeper
for you
mind to be able to understand. Things. These days, the strands of sexuality,
I mean,
it's just thrown to them.
It's
just tossed to them. And we're all looking at dance music. Nobody's looking at music that will make you sit and think and reason about life.
Well, we certainly have, started thinking about it this morning. If people have forgotten, because it impacts on the generation, the younger ones that we have.
I'm sure we'll
I'm sure.
All right.
But again, when you've got people, even when we have a censorship board, people will be paying their way through, which is the system we now have. Because we even have drugs that are not supposed to be there, but they're advertising.
Okay, because if R2B's song, RJ, could not make it to the VGMA and could not win an award at the VGMA years back, how come songs that are even more suggestive and more dangerous in code are winning awards now? How?
All right, so good morning. It's a Tuesday morning, packed show once again. Daily Run with this morning talk about what is in the news now. Junior high school, senior high school to have diplomas. I've heard people say that, well, you can change the certificate, but it doesn't mean anything. That's what people are saying. So.
But I have heard also that the quote from a minister that he didn't say exactly that, and that he's being taken out of context. The 3 years.
I think he spoke English. The issue now is whether it will be implemented, and we know in our part of the world, we know how policymakers behave. They throw the issue out there and gauge the mood of the people, and then they come out. So he might have not said precisely that this is what we're going to do, but if you're suggesting that we take a look at the certificate, the award,
that's the Minister for
the
Education.
reduction of university education from
4 to 3 years.
Of course, you didn't say we're going to do, but at least we know that it could be
something on your mind.
Like somebody said, it's something that is there
in the pipeline. And then, of course, we're talking about British Boarding School Expo, which is coming up. And for those of you who want to send your children out there, you certainly will want to stay tuned to this and find out exactly what the details are, so you can join them when they have
but if you don't get kwacha.
Oh yes, but you never know, because there's support systems. I mean, the sponsorship, there's
you know what somebody told me, and I refuse to believe it. Somebody told me that, look, all the big men in this country who were even part of making the free SHS policy, they have actually, because of a double track, taking their children to the private school. So AIS is choked, GIS is choked, Galaxy is choked, TIS is choked, SOS, Hemamina is choked, and the others are doing double track.
Interesting.
We'll take a break now, but let's say happy birthday to you, Bishop E.A.T. Saki of the Lighthouse Chapel, Kodesh branch, is from Joshua here at our continuity department. It says, happy birthday to you, Papa Sofo. If you pound fufu, let's know. We'll not shy away from it at all. We'll come and enjoy some. After the break, we'll see you.
We are going to be talking about the British Boarding School Expo. And joining me in studio to talk about this is Lizzie Laye, who is the representative for Everything's Education. Good morning, Lizzie.
Good morning.
So let's just touch on the expo. This is the third that's happening. And why is it so important that you'd come, down to Ghana and explain to parents and families why they need to have this experience?
Because we find that England, Great Britain is somewhere where people admire to have their children in schools. So we got in touch with the top private boarding schools in the country, and we brought our heads together along with our CEO, Elaine Kandamoka, who has 2 genius children that was rated the top 2 children in England a few years ago. And she believed that in every child, there's a genius. It just has to be nurtured and developed. So we thought about it, why don't we bring this idea to Ghana? Because not everybody that wants to send their child abroad to a school can afford it.
Right.
We have a growing middle class here, and we help parents in applying for scholarship schemes, being able to speak to the schools face to face, knowing which school is the best fit for their child.
Right.
So that's why we have brought it to Ghana, because we feel like we need to appeal to the middle class here, because everybody aspires. I want my child to study abroad, but not everybody can afford it.
Okay.
So in a way, we're bringing it to make it more affordable and appealable to the middle class.
Okay. So for parents listening out there, for families who are interested, and like you said, of course, when we hear sponsorship or scholarship, then there's hope, because oftentimes the funding is the problem. So how do we get in touch with you? And for the expo, when is it starting? When is it ending? How do we get there?
So the expo is starting on Friday night. At the British Council from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m, where that's a social networking event with all the schools, keynote speakers, just a little mixer to break the ice, to get to know the school unofficially. And then on Saturday and Sunday at the Marriott, we host the expo where you can ask questions, register with them. So you'll be able to register on Eventbrite. If you go on Eventbrite, type in British Boarding School Expo, you'll be able to register for the days you want to come. If you want to come on Friday, you can register for that. You can register for Saturday and Sunday. You can be there the whole 3 days if you wish, just to make sure you have as much information as possible.
Okay, so I got British Council Friday, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. What time is the one at Marriott?
Marriott is from 11 to 6 on Saturday and from 2 to 6 on Sunday.
Okay. And so was it free?
Yes, it's a free event, open for all. So nobody should feel intimidated that you have to pay to get to this event. That's what we're trying to take it all away from. It's free. Come along. You don't have to register when you get there. You can just get some information. We do this event twice a year. So if you come this February, find information and then, gather yourself up. And then in October, when we come back, you can register, or you can get in touch with us at any point of the year even. It doesn't have to be just at the expo event. We're always available.
So who are you expecting to be there?
Who are we expecting to be there? We're expecting some big people. I think we're expecting the Minister of Education, some other keynote speakers. We're expecting Lansing College, which is the school that President Nana Akufo-Addo studied in the UK. We're expecting Millfield, Cardiff Sixth Form, big names in the independent school scheming in UK. So I would say, whatever you're doing this weekend, find some time to join us, because you will not.
Sunday at British Council, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. and then at Marriott on Saturday and Sunday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and 2 to 6. Make sure you join them there for this wonderful experience. But it's time for us to rant, and we're talking about JHS and SHS leavers, their certificates being converted to diplomats. Well, are you ready for that, or is it just in the pipeline? Is it a thinking? Do you think it should become a reality in Ghana? Let's find out what you think.
Education Matthew Opoku Prempeh over the weekend offered some ideas that can help revolutionize the country's educational sector. Now, his emphasis was on certification and how we can make it count. For example, he said, and I quote, if someone could go with the middle school certificate into the army, why can't someone go now into work with the senior high school diploma as well? End of quote. Now, this line and other comments of his were perhaps summarized and reported as he saying that senior high school leavers will be awarded a diploma. But the Ministry of Education has parried those reports away and describing them as misleading. This morning on Daily Rant with me, Eric Yeweje, we want to find out whether the minister's ideas can indeed help transform the educational sector.
In itself, it is not anything that is out of place. But if you delve deep into it, that is where we have the challenges. Because the diploma itself, the change in the names of the paper that we take doesn't really make any difference. What makes the difference? They say, your friends say, content no. So who are the people that are getting the certificates? And only idea was here agreeing, not against what they are getting to go with the who. And no, that part of it is lost to us when it comes to education, and that is where we have the biggest challenge.
The whole issue of work and training must have a bearing. I always say that our problem in this country is industry requirements and the kind of training that we give to the people. What does industry require? And what is the kind of training we give to the person? So if it is that we want SHS leavers who will not have diploma, it depends on even the SS certificate cannot be called, it will not be called WASI, it can be called diploma. If you go to UK, we have single subject diploma and entire diploma. It depends on what we want to do with that diploma and what it can do. And that is why I feel that if it is a world of work, even the current SS, the debate in the whole private school system is about people who are not trained and producing results than people who are trained. So it means that even in the world of work, we still have SS product who are working.
The minister wants us to start a debate
and to really look at what we mean by basic education. So if that debate is started, then we will look at what do we define as a nation as basic education. Because if you look at worldwide, basic education is generally for the well-being of those people in that particular stage. And then the secondary education is to produce people that will contribute to economic growth. So the pronouncement of basic education becoming a diploma and then the secondary school becoming, it all depends on what the nation wants.
Which one are we looking at? The person who has finished SS and can work and give you results, and somebody who has a diploma or a degree but cannot give you results?
Yes, I think that if we even take our graduates, that is why we have some graduates, they go to the world market, they go into the industry, and you have to train them again. If you take the higher national diploma that we run in this country, it's the best concept for industry work. That they are training per their training, even right from first year, is exposed to attachment. Second year, third year, we have a university graduate who has gone throughout and has never been exposed to industry work. He comes in and somebody who has not gone to university rather trains him on the job. Is that the kind of world of work we want to do? I want to believe that we should begin to look at if it is that they should get national diploma and they should go to the world of work. We should as well look at the kind of curriculum that should present them. Because if we want somebody to read home economics at the SS level and should be able to manage a restaurant, or somebody should read home economics, can manage a sugarcane factory or juice factory, it means that the curriculum must be presented in such a way right from the training from first year to third year, he's exposed to practical training.
And not necessarily the certification at the end of the study.
The certificate. The certification is a name that in terms of upgradement, we probably want to he holds a diploma. But we should also look at, there were a group of guys who were sent to TTI from Kokompe. And their colleagues in TTI were going through the book and looking at step 1, step 2 and fixing. And these guys, before they realized, so maybe they had their hands on deck. And at the end of the day, by the time their colleagues could finish step 1, step 2, they had finished because they were exposed to the practical right from the first time.
The critical point about it is, who is the person that is standing in front of the people instructing them? In the midst of all this discussion, those groups of people are always left out. And they are the leaders in the classroom, the CEO of the classroom. Who is the teacher? Who is developing that particular individual? The teacher. In all these things, if you leave out the teacher, it doesn't matter what you are doing. Because the teacher is the pivotal point. He instructs. He is the person who's supposed to encourage the people and tell them, maybe nobody in your family has ever gone to a university before, but I want you to see this particular place. It is called a university. You can do that particular thing. And then he instructs the children in that same direction to get them there. That is what we should be looking at, not change of name. Last November, it was in the papers, the Human Capital Indices told us, out of 106 countries, Ghana was 102. Out of the minimum mark of 312 pass mark, Ghana was 306. And the Minister of Education with the two deputies, with the Chief Directors of Education, they were in the World Bank when they presented that. And the minister said a brilliant thing, that he was going to put a system in place to ensure that teachers are delivering. Training is given to the people. All we wake up to hear now is we want to do diploma or national diploma. Where is that statement that he made? What has happened to that particular statement?
If you talk of education, at whatever level that you say you have a BEC or SSE or a degree, we look at the content validity. Just mentioning the name of the certificate signifies nothing. That is why we always try to let you know that then we demand a transcript. So the transcript that is being demanded will tell you that what we name certificate, BECE, contains, the content validity is what I'm talking about, contains ABC. So if we are saying that we are going to change the name of our certificates, are we going to change the content a little? When we get to the university level, like we are saying, the tertiary level, the tertiary education is for universality. That if Adjo Kwejiba says that I have had tertiary education, when I enter Togo, I should function. When I enter Burkina, I should function. In as much as we need to look at the content in the universality, we also look at country specifics. What does the country need?
We don't do centralized admission system. We do faculty-based admissions at the tertiary level. But if you say, because we ran A-level before, it used to be 3 years. You are looking at a situation. Why did we get to this far? The first batch of SS were asked to write entrance exams. We've gone to this level because they felt that at least let's look at the kind of training we give to them, and that is why the 4 years were. So if you take the universities and actually listen to the vice chancellors and usually the lecturers, and they do serious debate on it, you will realize that if a child spends 3 years secondary school, he deserves to spend 4 years at the university level. If it is the HND, and that is why even the HND, the Higher National Diploma, is more industry practically based. They ensure that there is no way you can read HND throughout without doing attachment. And that is the exposure, and that is the nature of that course. And it was meant to fix in middle level managers. That is why you have somebody who reads accountancy, he comes in and he can apply various softwares because of the fact that he's exposed to some of these things. So we ought to look at it. But I think that it's becoming very worrying that we do fire service approach into educational issues.
The challenge that we have had in the tertiary, if you look at our system now, is that at the tertiary level, we are teaching them like we will teach the junior schools people in the tertiary level. That is what is happening now. I say so because of the build up to that place. Because if the foundation is weak, it doesn't matter the people that you put at the tertiary level. They will still deliver, and the people that they are delivering on, because it's the wood. Which wood are you working on? The quality that is going into the tertiary, it is making the teachers at the tertiary level, the lecturers at the, exert more pressure on themselves, and they still cannot translate that knowledge to the people. So for me, it is not about the years that they spend, whether it is 3 years or 4 years for us, doesn't really make any difference. The impact of it is what goes into that number of years. That the person, when the person leaves that place, what is the person leaving the institution with?
I went through 3 years university education because in those days you had to go with A level, and when you enter with A level it was 3 years, and then when the SS came they made it 4 years. I think that we need to do a thorough research and look at what has warranted the reverse of the 4 years to 3 years. Maybe we have reached a point that the SS curriculum, we've been able to develop it in such a way that it has reached the stage of the previous A level. Therefore, if the A level is 3, after A level education, you were to acquire 3 years university education, and now the system thinks that those who are acquiring the SS, they are matured enough to take 3 years university education. Research will show.
I tell you, anybody who has seen even the training of a teacher, at the teacher training college level, there is something we call supervision. Sometimes you stand there to teach while they observe. And that's why people stand there to say that, what is holding me? I don't know, Kitam. Then somebody stands there to say that, I went to the market and the tomatoes were children. All these translations comes from people who are teachers. That somebody who is in training is going through a process. You are to give a narration between two boys who were fighting. You say he was standing, and he came and knocked his behind. What I'm just driving at is that we need to work on those who will deliver the contents and begin to look at what purpose would the content also serve. What are we driving at? Is it for admission to higher level or for employability sake? And if we want to say that we review the number of years at the university, then we actually have to look at the number of years the person spends at the highest junior high school level. When I do analysis and do it a transcript of the SS system now, it is more or less reduced to 2.5 years. So if you spend 2.5 years at the SS level and you want to spend 3 years at the university level, then it means that what kind of courses will be used to do that? Why do we have a course like pharmacy that they spend much time to work on it? It's because of the nature of that area.
When it comes to education, it is the leveling field, playing field. It doesn't matter where you come from. You could come from the backside of life. You could live in a glass house. When we go to school, that is why we have a uniform that everybody wears. That is why they introduce the Achimota standards. We are all equal. So the teacher is the defining one for us in the classroom. if the teacher is able to encourage me in the classroom, who come from the backside of life, that I'm able to achieve and also go into the glass house and direct the path for me to walk in, then that person becomes a leader for me in the classroom. And that is the kind of discussions we should now be having when it comes to our educational system. But that part of it is lost in all our discussions.
So before any of such things should be implemented, we need a national research to inform that policy that we need to embark on.
This is a daily rant. My name is Eric Yeoje. You can go onto our various social media platforms and post your comments about the suggestion from the Education Minister Matthew Opoku Prempeh. Thank you so much for being part of this program this morning.
Welcome back. And this morning, the finder gets to start and says that Zipline makes strides as Rwanda expands contract to include emergency medicines. We're told that there's also the pledge to replicate the success story in Ghana soon. And then also on the finder this morning, fierce legal battle over Rupa. The implementation is in the news. We'll talk about that. Now, KMA opens Kajetia access roads to protest human traffic. And the president says never again should Africans permit slave trade. Those are the stories on the finder. The BNFT, we're paying our customers promptly. That's the consolidated bank assuring customers are receptive and confident in the brand. Also on the BNFT, port stakeholders back suit against Ghana Link Unipass. The Daily Graphic, medical drones take off second quarter. A picture of a setup here at a community here in Ghana. And then freight forwarders back suit against the Ghana Link and the Unipass story there. The Rupa story also gets some space on the Daily Graphic. The Times has a photograph of the president and the president of South Africa at the commemoration of the 400th anniversary of the transatlantic slave trade. We must restore pride, dignity of Africa. The president talking there. The custodian says that all parties should support Commission of Inquiry. Obiamwa tells NDC. And no diplomas for junior high school, senior high school graduates, Ministry of Education. And number one faces Dubai court on Val's Day. Government to complete final IMF exit deal. Those are some of the newspapers, the stories I have on some of them. My guest to do the talking this morning, Member of Parliament for the Second D constituency, is a member of the NPP, Honorable Andre Japamesa is here. Good morning.
Good morning, Brian.
And hope you're doing great.
By His grace, I'm well. Good morning to my
colleague here. Right. And he is a member of the NDC's team, Ediji Tamaklu is also here. Good morning too.
Good morning, Bright, and good morning to Malene Senior, Andrew, and good morning to your cherished viewers.
Grateful for your time with us. Let's start with this one, a quick one, and then we can move on. On page 3, the story says that Deputy Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, Obiamwa, has entreated all political parties to support the Commission of Inquiry to unravel the circumstances that led to some violence at Ayawaso West Wogon by election. He particularly implored the main opposition NDC to abandon its loud disapproval towards the process and rather back the commission to succeed in the quest to find a lasting solution to electoral violence in the country. Obiamwa is also the MP for Kwapim South, noted that the commission was a bold attempt by President Akufo-Addo to have a full, impartial and non-partisan facts of the Ayawaso incident, as well as other elections-related violence, uncovered and resolved. He says this is a high standard the president is committing himself to in addressing the issue and other related ones towards a lawful public conduct. That's Deputy Minister of Local Government talking there. Ediji, let me start a conversation with you. The NDC says it will not be part of the work of the commission. This is a Deputy Minister entreating the party to join the work of the commission. Is there a way the NDC will make a U-turn and go to the commission?
Okay, right. Once again, good morning, and good morning to my learned senior here. I think there shouldn't be anything wrong if there is a decision to establish a commission of inquiry to look at any matter. In the superior wisdom of the framers of the Constitution, if you look particularly chapter 23, regarding Article 278, you would notice that the president is mandated, as it were, per that constitutional provision, if he's so minded, to come by way of a constitutional instrument to establish any commission of inquiry to look into any matter of public interest. It's important to make this point that the events of the 31st of January were armed men deployed by the Minister of State at the office of the President in charge of national security, having confirmed that those armed men in mask were deployed by him or his outfit or ministry. And you do know that the minister is the direct representative of the president. And you also do know that the men had national security, NSC, written boldly on their t-shirts. Now, when you have this situation and you saw the reckless manner in which they deploy firearms, the impunity with which they conducted themselves in a manner that undermines the rule of law. The position the NDC has taken relative to this matter is that if you look at the laws of this country, particularly the Intelligence and the Securities Agencies Act, the National Security Council Secretariat does not have whether statutory or constitutional mandate to have a standby armed force. In fact, there is a constitutional injunction that you can only maintain an armed force by an act of parliament. So the police is established by an act of parliament. Until recently, custom officers could not even use firearms until their act was amended to permit them the use of firearms. The Ghana Armed Forces is established by an act of parliament. That is what allows for the rule of law. So where you have in this case men armed and deployed by the minister, and remember that the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is the chair of the National Security Council. I want to submit that at the time the minister said those men were deployed, and in fact, it was a direct question from Bernard Abler to him, were those armed masked men deployed by you? He said, we deploy all kinds of persons. This is a direct answer he provided. Now, Bright, when you have this situation and the evidence is out there, if the president is minded to punish the perpetrators of this heinous crime, what you do is not to establish commission of inquiry. I want to submit on this platform that this whole commission of inquiry is to whitewash the president. I am holding him directly responsible for this act and no one else. Mr. Brana Champon is no mean person. He's a minister lawfully vetted by the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. He now comes on air to say that these men were deployed by us. We have seen these men use violence in the most reckless manner. In fact, even the Ghana police, they have a standard, even under the Criminal Offences Act, justifiable use of force and how that should be done. It was not done under the circumstance. And I'm making the point that, look, my submission that the president is desirous using this commission of inquiry to provide a certain constitutional insulation or immunity for the perpetrators of this crime from facing possible criminal prosecution. I am fortified in this submission, right, by the well-reasoned submission decision by His Lordship, Justice Mafosa. I want to just read for your viewers so that so that I can just move on to another thing. You know, Justice Mafosa in the Ghana at 50 case made a very profound statement, and that decision has not been set aside. So I can, as lawyer, reference that. And he says this: what the findings and holdings in this ruling show is that if government intention is to prosecute public officers who are alleged to have conducted themselves in a manner prejudicial to the interests of the state in their public duties, the way to go is not to use commissions of inquiry under Article 278 of the Constitution, because the constitutional history behind the establishment of said presidential commissions under our Constitution, that intention requires government to use traditional investigative agencies under our laws so that the Attorney General could resort to powers granted her under Article 88 of the 1992 Constitution to mount appropriate legal proceedings if necessary.
Let me.
So on this authority, I am submitting.
Mr. Obiamo is arguing also that the commission's work is not only to punish people, but also to prevent recurrence. What about that?
My submission is that, first of all, having taken the view and fortified by this decision by His Lordship Justice Mafosa, my position is that once the persons appear as witnesses, they are completely insulated, and immunity is provided them from criminal prosecution. So the question of they even being punished, that's not even coming at all. Unless, of course, we have decided that these perpetrators of this violent crime, and my learned senior here will agree with me, if I am holding weapon, and in fact, it is one of those criminal offenses where the burden quickly shifts on the accused person to demonstrate the lawfulness of his possession. In this case, these are men who are not members of our regular forces. They have committed serious crimes. The evidence is there. In fact, the Director of Police Operations, DSP Alex Mensah, was interviewed right there. Are these masked men your men? He said, no, I know my men, and they are not. The evidence abounds. So, Mr. Obiamo, the question is not about the NDC coming on board. The question is that your president, our president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, having come to the realization that the persons behind this were his people, members of the invisible forces, members of Delta forces, members of his vigilante groups, the terror groups he's used from opposition into government. These are the very people who unleash this violence on the good people of this country. Having come to that realization, the president now comes to the Commission of Inquiry, which, to my reading of the law and the decision of the High Court in the Ghana 50, the persons who appear before the committee, they are provided a certain constitutional insulation from criminal prosecution. It comes to only one irresistible conclusion, that the NDC should not partake in this sham.
Okay, finally, and be brief about it. What about the argument that, for instance, the secretary to the commission, Mr. Kofi Abuchi, is suggesting, and he tries to counter the judgment you read, and said that the police administration could undertake a parallel investigation, and then whatever the findings are can be used against these persons. That is what Mr. Kofi Abuchi said.
In fact, in the Ghana 50 case, the learned Attorney General proffered this kind of opinion, that the two can run concurrently. His Lordship Justice Mafosa responded to that submission, and this is what he says. He says that if government, that intention requires government to use the traditional investigative body and not to have a commission of inquiry. In fact, he proceeds to say, under no circumstance should a commission of inquiry findings develop into criminal trial. Unquote.
I'm grateful. Honorable Mesa, the NDC has adduced reasons why they won't be part of the work of a commission. What do you think we can do to bring the NDC on board?
But right, a commission that has powers of subpoena, that has powers to compel the appearance of witnesses before it, you elect not to participate. Where does that right emanate from?
Well, the party said they won't be part of the work of the commission.
So I'm asking you that the commission that has powers to compel people to appear, you say you will not participate. You do not have that right.
So if the commission invites the person fails to cooperate.
But do you know what the meaning of a power for subpoena is?
Tell me.
Right there in the Constitution. Compulsive power to appear and provide evidence. You say you will not attend.
Okay. If someone appears and fails to cooperate, will it help the work of the commission?
It's unfortunate that people who in one breath claim that they do not trust the security agencies in conducting an impartial investigation and made the call for an independent body to be established to investigate the matter that evolved following the elections. After their call has been heeded to, and Mr. Totobi Kwache's letter, open letter to the president was clear. Now the president has set up the commission, independent commission, to investigate all matters relating to the Ayawaso incident. Now they turn around and say they will not participate because it's a charade. These same people. So it tells you clearly their mindset, the kind of impression that they want to create.
Are they wrong in asking for police investigations?
Oh, so didn't they know that an independent body investigating the matter will lead to people not being prosecuted, assuming without admitting that that was even the position? At the time that they were making a call for an independent body over and above the police service to investigate, they were not aware. They were not. Is that what you are telling me?
I am asking you a question.
So you see, look.
What are you wrong in asking for police investigation instead of a commission?
No, I don't have a problem with whatever call that they make. They are entitled to make whatever call. But I'm saying that we live in this country, and there's no way I'll verify it. I was on a program with him at Metro, condemned it roundly. As to the deployment, based on whatever intelligence that the security agencies picked, I do not have any qualms with them at all. But as to whether their response in dealing with the matter was high-handed, of course, we can have a debate. Okay? In one breath, these are people who are known by the National Security Minister. National Security Minister is responsible for who? In another breath, invisible forces.
Explain what you're saying. Explain what you're saying.
What is the basis for that assertion? When indeed the minister has said that these are people with the national security establishment. You turn around and say that they are invisible forces. Based on what? I don't get it.
Okay, so operating.
But that's what the minister said, no?
Okay.
I think that the president should just remain focused and carry out the mandate or the commission, as has been mandated to do, should carry out their investigations and bring their recommendations to enable us find lasting solutions to problems of by-election violence.
You think we'll get to the bottom without the cooperation of a group?
It would be ideal if we all as a people took away the politicking and admit that, look, this electoral violence, particularly during by-elections, becoming one too many. We've seen it in the past. No actions were taken by us. Today, it has occurred under another government. That government has taken a decision to investigate those matters and bring closure. Find ways. And look, Bright, people say, and I hear my friends in the NDC say, that the recommendations of the commission would be intended on, as it were, setting some people free. Why? Can we today preempt the recommendations of the commission?
Can we use the commission's recommendation to prosecute?
No, but who says that the commission cannot proffer sanctions or punishment?
He read a
for people
from Justice.
It says criminal prosecution. That doesn't mean that the commission, in any event, the commission's judgment or recommendations takes the tone of a high court judgment.
It means what?
So what it means is that the Commission of Inquiry's findings is equivalent to a high court judgment. And so sanctions can be imposed. Recommendations for sanctioning people. Not necessarily, we don't have to always punish people through criminal proceedings. That's what, no, of course, it's a fact. You see, so to suggest that this is intended to cover some people, clearly it's not borne out by the facts.
The main argument is that
there's none. That's the point that I'm making.
There is not.
There's absolutely no argument.
The secretary to the commission conceded and agreed that the commission's findings cannot be used to prosecute anybody, but he says that the police can undertake a parallel investigation. You don't agree with him?
You see, I agree with him. What I'm saying is that the recommendations of the commission could include sanctions without necessarily going through a criminal proceeding. That's the point. They are saying that the Commission of Inquiry's findings cannot be used to prosecute people.
What is the constitution of the
No, I don't have a problem. That's the position of the law.
Okay.
As espoused by
used.
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm saying that the recommendations of the commission itself could include sanctions that a criminal proceeding will seek to achieve.
Now you see.
So please let me conclude. So to suggest that they will not participate in the process, for me, it's neither here nor there. Like I said, the commission has powers of compelling people to appear and provide evidence. And if we as a country,
I want us to clear, you are a legal man, so a lot of my viewers will like education. So you're compelled to come. Can you refuse to cooperate? Would that also be?
Of course, that will go to evaluating your culpability or otherwise. In assessment of the commission's findings, and so it's up to you. Of course, you can't compel anybody to incriminate himself, or like they say, you can force the horse to the river, but you can't force it to drink the water. But that's entirely up to them. I think this is a useful exercise. This is something that we as a country should embrace. This is something that clearly demonstrates the present commitment at finding a lasting solution to this problem that has been with us over the years, that potentially could lead to something that we all do not wish for. And the NDC's crying wolf, really, listen to them. Consistently changing positions all throughout. You say you do not trust the security forces. Set up an independent commission. The president heeds to that call, to the charging of some members of our party. But I expect the president to do what is right. Okay? Because of his character, the nature of his person. Of course, deploying people and they acting in excess of their powers requires action to be taken. And that's exactly what it is that the president is doing. But of course, they expected that no such thing will be done, so that when the police conclude their investigation, they same people will turn around and say that we do not trust the police. We said we do not trust them. Now the commission that you call for has been set up. You say that is a shari. What did these people want?
Right.
I'm grateful.
Just to
yes, I'm taking a break.
You see, it's important that this point is made very forcefully. The NDC has always indicated its preparedness. And if you notice, immediately party took steps to even meet the Inspector General of Police, including the Electoral Commission. Our resolve and respect for the regular police officers of this country remain unshaken. What we are saying is the deployment of these armed, masked men. Right, you and I are
deployed at your National Congress.
Please. These are persons,
And
you and I, right, you
that?
and I would agree that when a police officer stops you, you are supposed to respect the person. Now, when you have persons whose identity you cannot even vouch for, whether they are policemen, military, what it does is that it even undermines and compromises the integrity of regular police officers and armed men. That is the position of the NDC. Okay. And you see, let nobody make this mistake and say, oh, the character of the president and what have you. The NDC's difficulty with the conduct of our president stems from the fact that, and my senior here will attest to it, when a senior police officer, Nanka Bruce,
you are very much aware that he declined to pursue charges against the accused person.
Nanka Bruce,
and that in those circumstances,
a senior police officer,
you know,
was assaulted at the very
allow him to learn.
My senior knows why. My senior knows why. Our president lives or works at the Flagstaff House. This senior police officer was assaulted by members of these vigilante groups, terror groups. At the end of the day, look at the response of the states. Okay. The men manning the CCTV camera were the ones that were rather arrested because the Republic suspected that they possibly leaked the footage.
Okay.
That is the state.
Okay, let me take a break.
Is that the
you wanted to react to this Nanka Bruce thing?
Right.
He has done that already.
We all know that indeed when the senior police officer was manhandled, action was taken. He, in his own choice, elected not to pursue charges against those individuals.
Okay.
And that was the end of the matter. And in those circumstances, you know that the state
cannot do
is
anything.
incapacitated in proceeding.
No.
Very much aware.
I was going to ask you that. But let me take a break. When we come back, we'll delve into the creation of the regional capital. Stay there. We're back in a moment. All right, welcome back to the program, and let's get to our second issue here. We're taking a look at the creation of the new regions and the fallout. Yesterday we saw in Koranza, in the Bono, the proposed Bono East region. We're hearing of issues in Wali and other places, as well as the Seshui area. The story on the Times says that the chiefs and people of Koranza traditional area have expressed their displeasure over the siting of the new Bono East regional capital. They claim that even though government is yet to name the regional capitals for the 6 newly created regions, the Traditional Council was aware that the Minister of Regional Reorganization and Development, Mr. Dan Kwekubochwe, and his deputy, Martin J. Mensah-Kosa, as well as other influential people in the government, have already settled on Techiman as a new regional capital for the Bono East region. They held a press conference yesterday. Honorable Mensah, let's start this way. We are likely to see the processes start today, and so we cannot say that this or that community or town or city is being picked. The people of Nkoranza are not too happy. Are they jumping the gun?
Well, I think so. In any event, only one town can be named as the regional capital, regardless of the fact that many towns within the region would desire to be the regional capital. And so our edge calm. And I expect that His Excellency the President will do the right thing. Will do the needful engagement amongst all stakeholders and arrive at a conclusion that ensures that at the end of the day, the entire region will be the better for it. Of course, I guess it's one of the few issues that both parties are at idem with respect to the creation of the new regions. Our friends on the other side proposed 5. We did propose 1. Subsequently, when we came into power, the petitions that came were sufficient enough to enable His Excellency the President commence the process in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution. And ultimately, we ended up with 6 regions, adding to the existing 10 to make 16. Of course, the agitations, as far as I'm concerned, are normal with any process.
But in this case, they suggested that certain meetings that were to settle on the capitals, the Nkoranza people have not been invited.
I don't know whether there's the intent would be to convene meetings to settle on which town becomes the regional capital. That prerogative rests with His Excellency the President, and he has to, consistent with our governance practice, engage in some consultations. That, I'm sure, would be done, has been done. Of course, I know that the Western North, there are several big towns,
right,
which are all, jostling for. Bekwai, we also BBNE,
all of them are
all of them,
for it.
But at the end of the day, it's only one town.
But does it show that we have not done enough consultations?
But right, whatever consultations that you do, you would have to make a decision on what. That's the reality. Okay, no matter the level of consultations that you do, people in we also say, and please, I'm in no position as I sit here to know which town has been selected to be the regional capital for Western North. I'm only using this. No, I'm only using Western region because that's the region that I'm more familiar with as an example, purely for purposes of this discussion. And so let nobody quote me that Mr. Mesa sat on TV3 and I cannot preempt His Excellency
the key thing is that you do not know which of
Yes, I do not. I do not know. But I'm saying
you're not in the capacity to know.
Not at all. His Excellency the President is the one who is vested with the power, and he has scheduled a program. 2 regions are going to the executive instrument, I believe, will be signed today. Another
constitutional instrument.
Yes, constitutional instrument. My apologies. And subsequently on Friday, I'm sure I will attend that of Western regions division into 2 on Friday. But I'm saying that whatever it is, all these towns are, as far as I know, big enough, well situated to be chosen as regional capital. But only one potentially would get the chance. For me, the critical thing is the object of the creation of the regions is to accelerate development in our country, because we know the kind of infrastructure that would ordinarily go into regional designations or regions, and what informed the creation of upper region from northern region, subsequently upper east and upper west, informs what it is that has taken place or is going to take place today and in the next couple of days. It obviously accelerates development of infrastructure, social services, and everything into our country, and deepens decentralization as we want to see it. I've heard people argue that, well, really, it's the districts that you need to focus on. And I say that, well, really, you can also focus on only one nation, Ghana, and still build roads and schools and hospitals to the communities that need them. But purely for ease of administrative purposes, it is useful that these divisions are made. Hence, the wisdom that informed our framers in putting in our constitution possibility of creating, and in some cases even possible to some point in our history where we'll decide that, look, yes, we've gotten as much development down, maybe cost-wise, it may be useful to consolidate the regions and have one unitary state without any region at all. Possible.
Okay, I'm grateful.
And so I will urge calm and let us all have the confidence in His Excellency the President to do what is right in the choice of the towns that would end up being regional capitals for the 6 regions that have been created.
Okay, so the key thing is that no matter what, we'll have some groups not too happy. How do we handle them?
Obviously, I associate with my learned senior's position that at the end of the day, you can only have one regional capital. My only concern is that it does appear that the people in Nkuranza are only asking for broader consultation, because it does appear, regardless of whatever they are saying, that their position is that there appears to have been some meetings that they were not involved, and that it appears that there are people from the other towns who may have certain connection with the corridors of power, and therefore they are privy to such consultation, leading to the capital. Remember also that the CIs that will be coming out with relative to this matter, and I understand today the president will be having this meeting, those CIs will definitely be drafted by somebody. Those regional capitals and others will have expression in the CI. So it does appear that somebody within the corridors of power is giving certain information that Nkuranza may not be the president's preferred choice of regional capital for that particular new region. And that is what is informing this particular, concern. I've always maintained that my reading of our laws in terms of our development, how we have developed as a people, and even the superior wisdom of the framers of the 1992 Constitution, one comes to the conclusion that the focus has always been at the assembly level. And that is why even in the superior wisdom of the framers of the Constitution, the idea was to create a district assembly common fund. You do not have regional common funds. In fact, if you look at the local governance structure, the assemblies, the regions, do not even have the power to enter into contracts. It is the assemblies that are established by law as body corporates to undertake developmental activities. My senior Yehu Dobos, who is also an MP, will tell you that even his own MP Commons Fund often gets through the assembly before he gets that. Because that is where the critical focus, if the idea is to develop this republic. And my position again is that, look, by the 1980s, Upper West was created, which were as the regional capital. 30 years or so under, in terms of development. Even Greater Accra, that was created out of the eastern region. There are more parts of Greater Accra that remains undeveloped. So if the question is about development, I strongly believe that the focus at the end of the day will still come back to the district assemblies, because they will be jostling. And let me appeal to my learned senior here, who is also MP, that the capping of the district assembly common fund, which is really the focus of our development, reverse that particular law, so that more resources can be made available to the respective assemblies to endanger, certain development for.
I'm grateful. Let's take some comments. We'll touch briefly on ROPA before we get up.
And I'm thinking, why don't the chiefs have a place of pride in our local government law? The chiefs. Because if you go to villages, yes, but if you go to the villages, the chiefs, once the gongo beater hits that gongo, summons everybody. The chiefs has power. Why don't they have power in there? Anyway. Good morning to your fellow viewers. Please let these government functionaries know that they can take people for a ride all the time, and they are not the only sensible people in Ghana. They are only there on the ticket of winner takes all. Thanks, Megash Freetown in Sierra Leone sent that one. Jagos from Insawam says, I think this introduction of drones will help the country, especially in our health sector, so we must stop the politics we're doing. Good morning, TV3. The commission, as constituted by the president, is another ploy to cover up those hooligans and vigilantes who were assigned by the president's own appointees to unleash mayhem on the electorates so as to allow voter apathy. And indeed, their aim was achieved. Ayo, MPP don't care to win just elections by killing Ghanaians. God save Mother Ghana. Osman Burkisan in Tamale. And good morning, Johnny. I want to know if this NSC ninjas actions which happened at the Ayawaso by-election were to be the opposition NDC government who is ruling. What's going to be the reaction of the ruling MPP party, Big Mama? You want to know if the tables are turned, what the reaction would have been. Okay, when you sit on TV to talk to people, you have to know that the people you are talking to have done critical thinking. The MPP man should give us a break. The question is it not true that the MPP deployed those people? Is it also not true that the Minister of National Security said he deployed them? Good morning. Good morning all. Political expediency indeed from the second DMP. He's allowed partisan politics to cloud his hard-earned profession. This is very sad. IB said that one. This commission of inquiry is unbalanced. It's not trustworthy. Why? Because all the members are part of the ruling government. So the commission is not independent. Reverend Roland from Amasaman. Tamale. It says, I think this is to whitewash the president. I tell you why. We all know that under no circumstances that the Commission of Inquiry can use its findings for prosecution. For it is said that justice requires an action, and if you want an act to act a cry in the interest of the country and not the greedy few. Good morning. Right. This NDC man, you people said you will not appear on the commission, so let them wait for their boot for boot in 2020 general election with Muhammad and his family in front. A. Rahim in Tamale. Hi, good morning. I want you to help me ask the Sector Minister of Education, Matthew Puku Prempeh, whether his O-level certificate, A, is a diploma certificate and where he copies bluntly from. I think he has contributed to Ghana's education being brought to this C level. He should be careful how they use the education to play politics or politicize education. They should give us a break of unplanned policies. Ghanaians are okay with this educational system. This school don't even have textbooks. Why not concentrate on material things that can help the schools, but rather we can mouthwash policies? Derek, Upper East Region, thank you very much. Good morning, Bright, and your resource persons. But sometimes it marvels me when MPP supporters try to compare the violence Talency and others, but the reality, difference and sensitivity of this issue is that all that happened between two political parties, but there's an issue between the national security officers who attacked the political party for no apparent reason, which needs majority condemnation. Ni Imam Probi. Ghanaians must stand against the president and his confused 111 ministers, not messed up our educational system. Bagari Al-Hassan in Jarapa. Good morning, Brighton Johnny. Please, what is the back and forth in our educational system for? Recently, the Minister for Education talked about increasing the number of years in teacher training colleges to 4 years and award trainees degrees afterwards. Today, the same minister is talking about reducing years spent in universities. Please, Minister, are you reversing your decision of making teacher trainees spend 4 years back to the original 3 years? Yaha Fuzi Kasuli. Aggrieved customers of Gold Coast Securities, Mr. Johnny Hughes, tell Indum that we are dying. He should give us back our monies. Hard. And please, now that this Ayawaso by-election case is looking like a case where a criminal has robbed a bank, his face is seen, his location is known, and then the authority and duty bearers say, let's not arrest this criminal. Rather, let's set up a committee to investigate and find out why he robbed the bank. Really? Philip in Adan is shocked there. Maybe last one there. Hey, so now we are just following the crowd. Whatever other African countries are doing, Ghana must also do. First, it's drone. Now diploma at basic level because money from the sponsors. African leaders will really sell their sovereignty. I hope we well-meaning Ghanaians and experts should call the dentists to order. Even the university polytechnic graduates don't have job now. Basic to receive diploma to get work to do. Wow, Prosper from Abo is surprised. Right. Thank you very much.
Johnny, grateful for your time. Unfortunately, we've hit the top of the hour, but I'm giving you just 1 minute each. Let's touch on this thing. The EC says give us more time to fix RUPA. Honorable Mesa. briefly.
I was just reading the story, and I guess that the court will have to decide, since they are applying for an extension of time,
right,
to enable them to do that. If the reasons that they articulate before the judge is compelling, then I guess that that order will be made appropriately to enable them implement this law that is way long overdue. Because if I recall, ROPA was passed in 2006, about 13 years ago. Such a long time. I guess that the orders that the court made was for them to implement it within a year from 2017. That has not been met, and they have done, in my mind, what is needful by going back to court to seek for an extension of time to enable them do that. So let's see how
what happens.
The court decides the matter.
Yes. Well, I think that, like the NDC, we have maintained, in fact, at IPAC, and remember that we have a rep, Dr. Benjamin Kumo, on the implementation committee. Our position has always been clear. It's either or nobody. So if we want all Ghanaians everywhere to vote, that's fine. But you cannot say Ghanaians in US, Ghanaians in the UK, and Ghanaians say in Papua New Guinea will not vote. Then we should have it for all. It's as simple as that.
Regardless of the potential challenges that
what potential? Then, because you see, if it's right, you cannot suspend my right in the enforcement of your even Czech Republic or.
I guess that's the work of the commission, the committee that has been set up.
I am grateful, gentlemen. Honorable
Mesa
is MP for second year, member of the NDC, and Eduji Tamaklo is a member of the NDC. I'm grateful for your time with us. Stay with us, we have more.
And later on in the show, we'll have a Kwabwa. It says, "Make me a promise, Shemebo." And on the 14th of February, the world over, they celebrate what we call Valentine's Day. As a day when all the beautiful birds come out to play and even the cats and dogs practice out to say, "You are my Valentine." But in Ghana in 2005, we decided not to lick on ice cream or not to swallow down cake, but to munch on our beautiful chocolates made with our Golden Tree chocolate brands in Ghana. And we're celebrating it this Thursday. But a precursor to that event, we'll have a conversation with the Corporate Affairs Manager of the Cocoa Processing Company, Mr. Eko Rule, and also the Acting Corporate Affairs Manager of the Ghana Tourism Authority, the Reverend Jones Aruna Nelson. Gentlemen, good morning, welcome. And happy Chocolate Day in advance to both of you.
Happy Chocolate Day.
Sure. I see you have 6 new brands of chocolate. We'll talk about them shortly, but why a National Day for Chocolate, Mr. Nelson?
Yes, as we may all be aware, the National Chocolate Day was instituted in 2005 by the then Minister for Tourism, late Jake Obechebi Lamte, to coincide with the Valentine's Day. It was also instituted to boost the local consumption of chocolates, and then also to promote domestic tourism, to increase our revenue, and it goes on and on. But the fact is that, remember, during Valentine's Day, during those times, before the Chocolate Day was instituted, to coincide with the Valentine's Day, people buy teddy bears, cars, and all that. But Jake said, okay, what significance can chocolate play? What role can chocolate play? Because our chocolate is the premium chocolate, the Golden Tree chocolate. So that we use that as a symbol of love to exchange gifts. Then also we can reap some benefits instead of buying teddy bears and other things. So that is how.
Mr. Rule, let me come to you now. You sit at the Cocoa Processing Company. How has this celebration helped your enterprise, for example?
Well, it's been great. I wouldn't say too much about helping our enterprise, but helping to grow local consumption of chocolate. Because hitherto we didn't have much sales on that day. People were using other things as gifts. You could talk about red wine, you could talk about other things. So when this was instituted, you have a lot more people now using chocolates as preferred gift during the Valentine's Day. So it's been good. We've been increasing sales actually year on year
almost every year we do over 20% over the previous year.
I see.
So it's been great.
Let's talk about the theme for this year. What is the theme, Mr. Nelson?
Yeah, the theme for this year's National Chocolate Day celebration is My Chocolate Experience.
My Chocolate Experience.
Yes.
Why that theme?
Yes, that theme is unique to us because our Ghanaian chocolate has an experience.
Okay.
We realize that it is unique in the sense that it boosts health-wise. When you take chocolate, you take in chocolate, it boosts your immune system.
Okay.
And people have had experiences with chocolate. So we are saying that what is your chocolate experience, and therefore my chocolate experience.
I see. We're used to the Golden Tree chocolate, just one bar, maybe a Kwafu bar, Potem bar, or whichever it is. But now we have 6 new ones.
Yes.
How different would that make this year's celebration of Chocolate Day?
It will, because these are new products. These are outside the traditional ones that you know. You mentioned the ones, Kwafu bar and so on and so forth. And we came out with these as a response to demand from the market. People see CP, so when are we going to see new products?
Right.
Okay. Then we also realize that during Christmas, a lot of people import so much chocolate onto the Ghanaian market. In fact, in 2017, it is known that about $45 million worth of chocolate was imported to this country.
Wow.
So we wanted to find out what is it that we don't have. You know, so we set to work, brought the R&D people, that research and development staff of our company, propelled by the new managing director, to go into the products that are coming into this country that are outside ours. So we came up with these new brands, and if we have time, I can walk you through.
Quickly, yeah.
Yeah, sure. We first have Heritage. Heritage is mainly handmade chocolate. You know, handcrafted chocolate. Belgium alone generates over $12 billion worth of funds or money from handmade chocolate.
Right.
So we have also come with handmade chocolate, so you don't need to import. And we have different brands. You know, some come with mint, some are milk, some are dark, and so on and so. Some
I had a taste of the Milky Way. It's sweet.
Some even have Irish cream in them. Then we have the choconut. You know, choconut is just like the pebbles that we have. Pebbles is not meant for you and I, it's for the children. But we don't have the patience to lick, you know, for it to get to the granule stage. So we want to, you know, crack into it, and quickly. It's always a problem. So this one is like M&M. It's softer and it's smaller. And we have 3 different brands of it. We have the milk, we have the white, and then we have the dark. Then we have the premium chocolate.
Yes, the premium one.
These are about 7 or 6 of them. Each one has incorporated exotic nuts, macadamia, pecans, walnuts, almonds, coconut, what have you. So they are actually new and different from
my mouth is watering now. I wish I could have a taste of
what
it.
people are used to already.
I'd like, but how accessible are these chocolates on the market? We have in 2 days we're celebrating Chocolate Day.
They are available.
Are they accessible?
They are available. Indeed, we know normally the pressure that we have during National Chocolate Day. So we never stop production since Christmas. We've been constantly producing and moving our stock. So for 2 weeks, we have constantly been sending out products to our distributors. Now you look around and there's a lot of chocolate, around. So we don't envisage any shortages this time around.
So with the assurance that we'll have a lot of chocolate around, Jones, tell me, what are the activities lined up for this year?
Yes, thank you, my brother. Like I said, we are organizing this year's Chocolate Day in collaboration with the Ghana Cocoa Board and the Cocoa Processing Company. The activities that we've earmarked, last Saturday we embarked on a health walk from Ayi Mensa to Ebri Botanical Gardens, and we themed it Choco Walk.
Okay.
We are saying that release some of the stress, taking some chocolate. Chocolate is good for Ghana. And then yesterday we had an educational tour to Tetekwashi Cocoa Farm and that of Cocoa Research Institute Ghana in Tafo. This morning there's an industrial tour at CPC. We are taking some students there, students from the senior high, to go and familiarize themselves with how cocoa, chocolate, the processes of chocolate. The climax will be on the 14th at the National Theatre, forecourt of the National Theatre, where we're going to have the national celebrations. Yes.
How are we drawing the Ghanaian farmer into all of this? Because they till the dirt to plant the cocoa, to bring us the produce, to make these fine flavors of chocolate. How do we draw them along?
Yeah, I think they are involved with the industrial tour for the students. For example, it starts from the farm level.
Okay.
They are being exposed to the entire value chain of the cocoa industry, from the farm level to the bar level.
Okay.
So from bean to bar.
Bean to bar.
Yes,
B2B.
Exactly. And there are plans, working with PBs who are buyers of cocoa to make sure that these products are also accessible to the farming community. Indeed, every year during the National Farmers Day, we host the award winners and, as it were, pamper them with chocolate, because they are it's coming from the sweat of their labor.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's how we draw them.
Yes.
Are they enriched? That's the key question that comes up every now and then. That, like, the farmers are first makes the chocolate, people buying the CTs, but they don't get to enjoy the kwacha that comes along.
Well, I think that's debatable, because the cocoa board will tell you that normally they also get bonus in case they generate over and above the target. So, and the government sets the producer price, and it doesn't change even when the price falls on the world market.
Right.
So there's a way of compensating them somehow.
I see. Interesting. We'll wrap up the conversation, but we can't without a bite of chocolate.
Oh,
Mr.
sure.
Ro, let's check. Which is your favorite? Jones, which is your favorite? Let's check it. You are too back in the day. You like a coffee
almond.
Yeah, because this is almond.
This is almond.
Okay, so we're going to have a bite of it.
Yes,
can we?
Yeah,
sure. We're
and
going to
this
have a
is
bite of almond.
Pecans.
Pecans. Okay.
Yeah, so I would do pistachio.
Okay. Okay. I'm doing almond now, and you break it. It's authentic Ghanaian chocolate.
Yeah.
There you go.
Doing the pecans. Pecans, right?
Yes, pecans.
Oh,
and these are all healthy nuts.
Well, should be doing it the 14th of February. Don't go buy roses. Don't go buy wine. Don't go buy teddy bear. Buy authentic Ghanaian chocolate and enjoy. Help that farmer, help our industries to grow, and make the policy and initiative of World Chocolate Day come up now. Well, congratulations, gentlemen. Closing thoughts from you, 30 seconds for both of you.
Yes, I want to tell the Ghanaian public that the Ghana chocolate is good. It is good for our health. It is good for releasing stress, and it has a whole lot of health benefits.
Right.
And then the quality too is in order. So we should patronize the consumption of chocolates, and then we should use chocolate as a symbol of love during these times.
I see.
And
Mr. Ru,
to help
I enjoy the flavor. It's softer. It's much more refreshing
and crunchy
and exotic.
Yes.
What are your closing thoughts, sir?
Okay, first I would like to thank Ghanaians for their loyalty to the Golden Tree brand, and I would like to encourage them to continue patronizing the products as we also churn out more new products onto the market and improve on almost everything that we
Thank you very much. And you've been listening to the voices of Mr. Echo Rule. He is the Corporate Affairs Manager at the Cocoa Processing Company, and also Reverend Jones Nelson is the Acting Corporate Affairs Manager at the Ghana Tourism Authority. So the day is done, the deal is set. On the 14th of February, we're going to be munching on chocolate, not licking on ice cream, not swallowing cake. We're going to be munching on chocolate only at the National Theatre, and you've got to be there. See you, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Coming up next is the superstar himself, the king of love, and the man who knows how to make your heart melt like ice cream in the sun and make something tingle down your spine. Akobwa is up on your screen shortly.
Even if it become a
church, boy time. The man himself, Akuwabwa. Chief, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Sweet
Sweet
Share, listening to song in the background, and he says you sound too old. How do you put it together?
Let's say as a songwriter, you should be able to be doing lots of things. You get it? Writing great songs. So once in a while, you know, we tend to forget things.
Right.
Whilst we're chilling, having fun, we tend to forget that there's a place to go.
Right.
You get it? So when you're doing things, learn to do things the right way.
I see.
So that's how come, yeah.
The songs, the Matters of the Heart album.
Yes.
Interesting songs. You get me confused all the time. What to choose as my favorite on that album.
Yeah.
And somebody told me to ask you why you're a bad boy like that. So writing music.
No, actually, that's the goal. You get it? I just didn't want to do songs that people might take like just an album that people might take like 2 songs on the album and then they are done.
Right.
You get it? I wanted to treat every song as my last.
Okay.
That way you're going to listen to the whole album one. And if you want to buy a CD, you get it?
Yeah.
You have the worth of your money.
Exactly.
You get it?
Exactly.
And then for people to really know that there are great songs out there. It's not all about sometimes the
bush things.
There are lots of
Interesting.
songs out there.
Valentine's Day is coming up, and for
Exactly,
you,
yeah.
this will be well situated in your music.
Yes.
How are we preparing for it?
Okay, so on Val's Day, which is 14th, I'm having a concert.
Okay.
Okay, so it's called Shades of Love concert.
Shades of Love.
Yes.
Why that name?
Okay, so you know, there's a happy love, there's a sad love, and there's complicated love.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see a lot of the complicated ones on Facebook. Like somebody says I'm in a complicated relationship. Yeah.
Yes, and that's if you listen to one of my songs. How can I let you go? You're in a complicated relationship.
Exactly.
And
Whether to go or to stay.
Yes, exactly. And then there's Shamibo.
Okay.
The sad part.
Yeah.
You get it. And there's even though say you are my number one. You get it. That's the happy. So you'd find all those shades in my songs. You get it?
Right.
So that night you're going to have
a different shades, everything there.
Oh yeah.
So you're going to be mending broken hearts.
Yeah. Dance and then
I see. Where are we meeting?
So at the Accra City Hotel.
Okay.
God will, yeah. It's 7 p.m. sharp, and ticket goes out for just 100 cedis for single.
Okay.
And couple is just 160 Ghana cedis.
That's cheap.
Yeah, very very cheap. I mean.
Why are you doing this in a tight economy like this?
Because you know people don't get the time to tell their spouses or their loved ones how they feel about them. It's been all about I'm busy, I'm working. You get it? And so we just chose that day and this time for you to just have time, come with your loved one, and then just be able to express your love.
And show them that
show
you
them,
care.
yeah. I mean, we've been busy working and everything, but today, I mean, let me get the time to tell you I love you.
The last time I was there at a concert, I emceed a concert.
Okay.
Saturday was there, you were there as well.
Exactly.
I saw the many lovers who came and they didn't want to close.
Yes,
when you were done, when you were done, they didn't want to go home.
Yeah.
I said, look, your money is finished.
Guys
It's after 1:30 a.m.
and we're still
go home.
And that's one thing about my shows, you know, it's packed and it's strong.
Now they started attacking you. So now if they come there on the 14th and they don't want to go home, what's your plan?
But you know, it's happening on the 14th here in Accra and on the 16th in Kumasi.
Okay.
McLean Hotel. 16th.
I see.
Yeah.
So 14th is Accra City Hotel.
Exactly.
7 p.m.
Yeah, 7 p.m.
Where can we buy the tickets?
Okay, it's there are some numbers to call.
Okay.
0244 082 544.
You need to say that slowly for me.
Okay, so 0244 082 544. And please write it down so that you can be telling them about
okay,
that.
0244
082 sorry.
082
544.
544.
Yes.
So that's 0244 082 544.
Yeah, and when you come to the Accra City Hotel, you're going to get tickets to buy.
Tickets.
Oh yes, plenty.
Don't worry.
Plenty.
What do they tell you? What do they tell you?
Okay, so basically I get a lot of DMs from Instagram to Facebook and blah blah. They're like, I love your music, I love blah blah blah. You get it.
And I love you too.
Oh yes, I understand as well.
Okay.
And I love you too, but you see, the thing is, I know it's the love for my music.
Okay.
You get my point. It's not basically me they're loving. It's they love what I'm doing.
Have you been pushed so much by somebody who is persistent to the point that you wanted to meet the person and have something to do with that person?
I've not gotten to that point yet.
Why? Why? They are not speaking hard enough or tough enough?
No, I just feel I have to be careful.
Okay.
This is life, you get it. One wrong move can cost you a lifetime of events, you get it. So I'm extremely careful. People I meet, people I talk to, and then you can't just swim me like that.
Someone said Akobo has plenty side chicks, true?
Side chicks?
Yeah.
Oh, there you
You don't have side chicks? You don't have even one? Never.
Yeah, I remember even before I became Akobo, those times when you're young, you do some things, yeah. But it doesn't, you see, the higher you go, you get it, the tougher it becomes. Anybody can just, and you get it, they might want to sleep with you and like that. Me too. This is spiritual too.
Exactly.
You get it. Music is very spiritual.
It is.
Yeah, so if you're sleeping with everybody, you get it.
Yeah.
Also, it's just like you're sleeping with all sorts of spirits.
Does it explain why some people rise and fall in their musical career?
Yes, it is. It is. I would say that is one disadvantage of if you're a star. You should be able to say no to so many things because
is it easy to say no?
No, it's not easy. But you see, it starts in the mind.
Okay.
You get it. You should be able to say to yourself, okay, this is who I am. People celebrate me. That's why you're called a celebrity.
Right.
So you can't just keep doing everything or women coming to you and then you're sleeping with everybody you meet. No, you're just gonna break yourself. You'll get to a point you're gonna do it. Now you're not gonna go down, but you see your peers rising above you. You're still there. You get it. So that makes you feel like, whoa, but you're there, and then you're not going anywhere.
What will make a Akobo cheat? Money? If you find an extra rich, affluent lady, or if you find a lady who is so irresistible, or if you start having troubles at home, what will make you cheat? The three things I mentioned.
I think it's not about even me, what will make me cheat. I think what will make every man cheat is when the man doesn't have peace at home.
Okay.
That is something we don't take for granted, especially, you have to go out, get some things done. You get it?
Right.
Try to sort yourself out, get money, come take care of the family. You get home and there's another problem, wahala waiting for you at home. Trust me, you're going to go out. Going out, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to cheat, but that's when you take a man's peace from him. You get him confused, and then the slightest chance he gets with anybody out there who gives him a little peace, you get it, he's going to just fall. So
strong man is a slim man like you.
Yeah. There's a strong man.
Surprisingly, how Sarkodie assigns only slim people.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, it's not about how small we are. It's about how deep. How deep we are.
What are your views about strong man? You make some of his songs as well.
Yeah, strong G is wherever you are, Charlie. I feel strong man is a force to reckon with when it comes to rap, like rap itself. Because the things he says in his music, I sit down and I think about it. I'm like, like you get it. So if you say I could free one man, to me,
you put strong man.
I'll put strong man straight.
I see.
Straight. Because
somebody told me that your grandfather is a legend.
Yeah.
Your father is a legend.
Yes.
You are becoming a legend.
Yeah.
But even in their retiring stages, Charlie, the things they do, they are bigger than you. You have not come close. You agree?
I don't agree.
Why don't you agree?
One, I respect the fact that my granddad is a very big one out there. My father too is there. I have something that I'm also doing.
Okay.
You get it? The goal is to sit back like 10 years from now, God willing, and then watch people perform most of my songs. So it's a gradual process. I've not gotten to where I want to be. Yes. Okay. I'm still working towards that. So eventually, my dad is close to like 60.
Right.
My granddad is passed. So let's wait till I also get to 60.
Then they can measure you.
And then you can measure.
What made you cut your hair?
Okay, so I woke up one morning. I just thought, okay, you know what? I deserve to change the looks. Yeah.
It used to be golden hair.
Golden hair, yeah.
And then it came to the dreads, the rasta,
yeah,
and then you cut it.
Yeah.
What made you cut it?
Like I said, I just woke up. I have a very big mirror like this TV screen beside my bed.
Okay.
So I woke up one morning, I was sitting down, and then sometimes it's kind of tough because you have to go to the salon, spend like 4 hours in there because it wasn't the real like lock. You get it?
Okay.
You have to just take it off and then retwist it and everything, and you're going to sit down for like 4 hours and stuff like that. I was like, you know what, my brother.
Let me end this now. Will you go back to it?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so.
This is. But let's see your head. Let's see the head.
Oh, now it's even growing.
Oh, now it's growing.
No. I'm just waiting because it's 14th. I'm going to do it tomorrow. Go cut it and then shave well.
Shave well.
Yeah,
get ready for it.
For
the ladies' man. Some say you should go back to your keyboard days.
Okay.
Stand behind the keyboard and play and sing.
Okay.
What do you say?
I think it's something that I do. You've been on my shows.
Yeah.
On my show, yeah. But I had a keyboard there. Yeah.
Right.
But sometimes, our stages that we have is kind of big, and the band is always at the back.
Right.
You get it. So you don't get a chance to bring the keyboards
to interact with the people.
So it's not something that I don't want to do or stop doing. When the chance comes, I get the keyboards out there and I
Does Akwaba play for his wife at home?
No.
You don't play for your wife at home? Why?
Are you trying to ask me if I have a wife?
No, I don't know. You tell me. Do you have a wife?
So I don't have a wife yet.
You don't have a wife, but do you play for someone special on your keyboard?
I'm supposed to.
Okay.
But the thing is, my keyboard got burnt like last 2-3 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't have a keyboard at home.
But prior to that, were you playing for someone?
The thing is, my time for writing songs or playing is in the midnight.
Okay.
In the night.
Okay.
And by then, what the crap man just said? You going upon yourself, Charlie?
On the 14th of February, we're having a party for lovers only. We'll be swinging low on the strings of love of Akwaba's music. It's at the Accra City Hotel. You pay only 100 Ghana cedis for single, 160 for double. And then on the 16th, we're meeting at Milkling Hotel. But know that music is coming up this Saturday as well. And it's absolutely free at the TV3 Studio B. All you got to do is to dress up and show up and be part of the conversation. And somebody says, where can I find him on Valentine's Day? Please ask Akwaba, where can I find him for my Val's Day present? Flexi, our Flexi, Santa Flexi. Anyway,
tell Flexi to come to Accra City.
I hear you. Flexi, you know where to meet us. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow will be Wednesday. Know that if you can think it and your heart can believe it, only you can achieve it. We love you and be good.
Success music. The first time you gave me that answer, that you're gonna be my lover, you should have seen my face. You should have seen my face. The first time you said that you love me.